Hello, my beautiful collective. Welcome to yet another installment of the Healing Podcast with uGogo Mphemba. So today we're going to jump straight into it, but before we do, some quick disclaimers. This podcast is based on, but not limited to, African spirituality. Okay. Also, I am a South African Nguni woman, so I will go into my Nguni languages, the ones that I'm fluent in, isiZulu kanye nesiXhosa. Okay. So guys, if you don't understand what I'm saying, then be sure to do your own research or write in the comments, ubuze in the comments, and then I'll be happy to respond where I can. So in episode 2, we looked at how you come to be as a human being, how you manifest now into the world, right? So uMakhulu went into a lot of science basically to try and show you guys ukuthi science proves your very existence. It proves why you are here, and also to show you ukuthi your presence here is of importance. Okay, so now we are done with the science, right? Now we're going into the spiritual stuff, and today we are going to look at, or we'll start off by looking at the laws, the universal laws that govern us as these human beings. We are all subject to these laws. Now, these are spiritual laws, okay? These are the laws that we are mindful of, Sino Makhulu, when we are channeling for you guys during sessions and when we are healing you, okay? Because Makhulu doesn't just channel messages from your guides and ancestors, she also teaches, right, in sessions. For those of you who have had sessions with her, you know, all right. There are 7 laws that govern our lives as human beings, right? The first one is the law of divine oneness, right? Which basically states that we are all one, right? We all have a divine unity. That is why we say we live in a universe. Now, in episode 2, uMakhulu got into how your heartbeat comes to be, ba-ba. And she mentioned ukuthi that sound is the beat of the universe. It is the sound of the universe, right? Everything that has manifested in physical form here on earth has this ba-ba, right? It's just audible in us as humans. So the law of divine oneness states that we are all in universe. Uni meaning one, verse meaning song. So we all let out one song. It may differ in pitch, right? Some may let out a higher pitch, lower pitch, and the difference in pitch is basically the difference in frequency, right? Otherwise, we are all part of this divine universe, okay? We are all one. We then have the law of vibration, which basically states that everything in this world that we live in vibrates at a particular frequency. Everything has a frequency at which it vibrates. And remember, the frequency at which that particular form vibrates has determined how it comes to be, how it condenses and becomes the physical form that it is. We then have the law of correspondence, which basically states that the internal state of something is reflected by its external state. Okay, so what goes on inside you as a human being will be reflected outside. Sizokubona ukuthi, you exhibit particular character traits, right, that are either pleasant or unsavory, right? That points to us ukuthi the source of what we see externally is internal. So your subconscious will always be reflected by your conscious state. Whatever's going on with you on the outside, however you present, says a lot about what is going on with you internally. We then have the law of attraction, which we use to manifest that which we desire into our 3D reality. Now, the law of attraction states that energies of a similar frequency come together. They attract one another. Okay, so the law of attraction is also commonly known as the law of resonance, especially in the scientific space, but we're not going into science in episode 3. So okay, ibalulekile law of attraction, because it now ties in with the law of vibration, right? Which states that everything has a frequency at which it vibrates, right? So as human beings, guys, we need to be mindful, because frequency yethu iyashintsha, right? As long as you are an energy giving and receiving being, your frequency is constantly changing. But what you want to do is you want to make sure you always maintain it at a high range. Remember, frequency hamba ngama range. That's why we can't say energies of the same frequency, because frequency will never 100% match and be the same, right? But it will be similar. And so if you are within that range, so if the two frequencies are similar, strikingly similar, then we see attraction begin to take place. Okay, they resonate with one another so that they become one. So it's important to understand that everything that you desire here on earth, be it material, be it non-material, right? Maybe you desire a particular experience, or you desire a particular feeling, everything has a vibration, and everything can be attracted into your 3D reality so long as you match its frequency. Okay, if the frequencies do not match, kwenzeka into esithi it's a deviation, because there's a huge gap in the frequency, right? In statistics, ibizwa nge-standard deviation. Okay, when the frequencies don't match and there's just too much of a mismatch, they are not going to gel. But now a frequency is very interesting, because energies of a similar frequency attract one another. But when there's a huge gap or difference in the frequencies, one is high vibrational, one is low vibrational, those frequencies, they still attract one another. But now it is the mechanism, right? It is the process of how this happens that differs. Okay, so what happens is that the low frequency is going to have to alter the high frequency to be something that can resonate with the lower frequency. Okay, so if you're not mindful as a human being, and you allow is the key word, allow low vibrational frequencies into your space as a high vibrational being, human being, you are going to find your frequency at a lowered, distorted state, because the low vibrational frequency is going to affect your high vibrational frequency so that it mimics the low vibrational state. What results is a very distorted type of frequency wave, but it aligns with the low frequency. You see now, the low frequency doesn't lose anything. It doesn't lose anything. You lose intensity. And now you have this distorted frequency about you. And your life just becomes a mess, even distorted kwayona. Right? So very important to be mindful of the energies you let into your space. How do we become mindful, Gogo? By firstly understanding that everything has a frequency at which it vibrates. The law of vibration. So everything is energy. Everything is energy. High vibrational energy brings high emotions, happiness, joy, light, contentment. Low vibrational energy brings low vibrational thoughts, feelings, experiences, depression, sadness, illness, disease. Right? A state of malaise, general malaise. You don't know what's wrong with you, but you just don't feel well. Fatigue. So okay, you need to be mindful of those energies. And if they are present in your lives, you need to now work on an action plan of removing them. and restoring your high vibrational frequency. So then we get the law of action, which basically states that you have to put in physical action in order to manifest your goals, your desires. Okay, remember in episode 2, uMakhulu explained to you ukuthi that is just how your chakra system is arranged. You've got support, you've got communication, and then you have to now act. The lower chakras, they are only there to help you through action. Okay, so when you don't act, when you just desire, when you just say, I speak into the universe that I'm going to have this and I'm going to drive this car and I'm going to live in this house, or you light your candles and you pray, I pray, God, give me a nice car and give me a nice house and give me a lucrative job, yada, yada, yada. You know, I pray for marriage. Or, ulayita amakhandlela, uqhumisa impepho. Phahle bantu abadala oyini ndicela nindiphe ndicela intoni oyini Thixo torh ndicela intoni. And then you leave it at that, and then you walk out of Leo prayer or logo phahla, and you go and you sit on your couch or relax uthi ndicelile izawuzake ngoku. Uyazibhanqa, you're fooling yourself. You need to act. You need to act. And tina, as spiritual people, we usually say you act as if Leo has already manifested. Why do we advise you guys to do that? So that it quickens the manifestation. Because you are matching with the frequency yakho. Now, if you act as if it has already manifested. So you're going to have to do a good job of convincing yourself, ukuthi, you drive that Range Rover. You drive that McLaren. You drive that Mustang. You're going to have to feel the emotions of you driving that Porsche. Because you have a third eye to envision it. You have your heart which desires it. You have your divine team whom you've communicated the desire to and asked for support. You communicated with your throat chakra. You need to now act. You need to act. And everything you do, you speak to it. Right? You go to work every day. Uyavuka uyophangela. You say ndiyophangelela iPorsche yami ngoku. Ndiyophangelela umzi wami ngoku. That's what you do. You guys think I just wake up every morning and come into sessions? Nikhathaza kangaka nina ngibona izinto ezisabekayo ngani? And you think ukuthi ngiphelele? I wake up, ndiphahle, and I say ndiyophangela ngoku, ndiyophilisa abantu ngoku. And ngoba ndiyophilisela abantu, I'm working towards intontoni yami. I'm working towards intontoni yami. Because I'm helping them nabo bafumane heart's desires zabo. So I'm not just working for easy, no. Because also when I tell them, they can manifest anything. They need to, when they look at me, but I know, manifestile as uGogo. She's onto something. She's manifested. One of my last sessions before I had to put readings on hold with this client of mine. Right? But uyabona ukuthi there's a bit of a shift kuma finances zakhe. So I decided to kuhlola ukuthi okay, what's going on, right? I'm not going to share because angifuni go deep into that. That's not what this podcast is about. His response athi, yes, sis. Ngiyasho man ukuthi why ngingayitholi le Porsche yami? Why ngingayitholi le Porsche yami? Kunini gogo ngiyayimanifest. Hayi, ithatha isikhathi kanti all my other cars, they pretty much, came within the time that I put for my manifestations, vele ukuthi afike. And I just sat there and I said, oh my goodness, this is where I want to get everybody who comes to uGogo Mphemba for healing. I want to get you to a mindset yakhe. Yet he desires, he communicates with his divine team, and he acts. And he's manifested so much into his life experience to the point where usayazi ama manifestation akhe ukuthi ama-time frame ahamba phi. That's where we want to get you guys. And now if you're serious about living a happy, purposeful, fulfilling life, you're going to take Lama Pearls of Wisdom Mphemba is sharing with you guys, and you're going to implement them. You're not just going to absorb them and say, oh, that's nice. You're going to act. You're going to act and manifest the life that you deserve to live, which is high vibrational, which is joyful, which is pleasant, which is happy, which is fulfilling. Then comes the law of perpetual transmutation. Perpetual, meaning ukuthi, it goes on and on and on, it spreads. Which basically states that energy will always change and evolve so that it becomes a more efficient, better version of its former self. That's why we see evolution come to play in our earthly realm. We ourselves are evolved versions of our guides and ancestors. Your children that you give birth to, they are an evolved version of you. They will know more, they will do more. Right? And during the conception process, there's something that happens, right? Guma chromosomes, where the two chromosomes from the mother and the father have come together, and again now the cells are developing, right? In order to the physical structure yomntwana. There's something that's called gene crossover, where a tiny section of the chromosomes switch information. Just a leg, they just touch and they switch information in order to give that child individuality, their own specific, unique characteristics. And it is these characteristics that will set them apart emhlabeni. That's why I say human beings are unique. No two human beings are the same. Besides, I guess, identical twins. But I think also nama identical twins, once they've separated, then a crossover happens, which gives them, yes, it does. That's why they are identical physically, but they exhibit different qualities. They have different characteristics. They don't like the same things the whole time. They don't have the same taste in men, in women. They don't like the same colors. Yet they are twins. Identical twins. With fraternal twins, those are two different individuals who just were birthed at the same time. Fertilized at the same time, birthed at the same time, but two different individuals. So again, it's very important to understand this, that energy changes and evolves, because it is crucial when it comes to the last law, which is the law of cause and effect. Karmic law. Karma, any cause that is a result of your actions, has an effect. It has an effect. Now, in science, the law of cause and effect, for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. Tina, as spiritualists, not necessarily. For every cause, there is an opposite reaction, yes. There's an effect. But because energy does what? It evolves. The effect, the reaction, may be a lot more intense than when you actioned it out. Karma. So the energy that you send out, it will return to you. But now it would have evolved. That's why umuntu who sends you ubuthakathi, right? Who sends you witchcraft energy. So guys, here in South Africa, we don't have white witches, because some of you are on some Gogo, let's not generalize, because there's white witches. Here in South Africa, we don't have white witches. That is a concept overseas somewhere, not la. La we have healers and we have witches. So now if you acquire a reputation yokuthi wena uyi-witch, then we mean ukuthi you use magic, black magic, to cause harm and kill people. You're a witch. The opposite of that is a healer. Why would you be a white witch? Just be a healer. Why? White witch for what? Just be a healer. It's either you heal or you kill. White witch. No. We don't have white witches here. So when I say witch, I mean umthakathi. I mean somebody who uses black magic to harm others, to kill others. Full stop. Okay. So that's why when witches bewitch you, send you curses and hexes, and relax, and think ukuthi the energy won't return to them. Of course, witchcraft is devoid of logic. Devoid of logic, of common sense, of reasoning. So they usually believe hocus pocus in their heads. Bacabanga ukuthi you won't be able to return their energy to them. Because what? Because you're not a human being, this electromotive life force that flows through you. You don't have the ability to create. Isithe nike le life force isilele. If you don't have the ability to create exactly what you want to see. No. And the laws that we're all subject to say that energy will return to you. Cause and effect. For every action, there is an opposite reaction. But it is not always equal, because energy evolves. So, their energy returns to them, and now it is evolved. Akusasiyo lento that they sent out to harm you, to kill you, and it didn't succeed. Right? So the energy returns to them, but now it's a lot more intense. They don't recognize it. Ibaqume pants. They can't handle it. They can't handle it. Some of them even die. So idlozi lomntana abantu sumthakathile lithi lifuna return to sender kaMphemba ebhadlile, because uMphemba doesn't just say dibanisa dibani. uMphemba expects you to research. She expects you to research what those herbs are, what they do. So it return to sender kaMphemba. The request has to come from your ancestors and guides. We do that because they are in a position where they see more and they know what the results will be and whether the results are going to be beneficial for you. Okay. So when they request it, you must know ukuthi vele kuzoshuba. And it's usually the men. Omkhulu. I'm going to be honest. It's usually the men. Being a psychic medium, one thing I've realized is that the men are a lot more sensitive compared to the women. They are a lot more out there, a lot more emotional. They care more. They're very childlike. They love more. The women love and care, yes. But there's a bit of stoicism with the ladies, But the men, the men are very proactive and they just care more and they are more doting, right? There's a lot of learning. She doesn't just impart divine wisdom on you. You have to learn. Ufuna Just to sit down and film this podcast, my textbooks ayisehlele garage gathering dust. From varsity, wathi vula. Funde apha nale xoxo, funda. Ngoba benithakatha bepheka izichitho ngamaxoxo. I had a walk-in client. So he first booked online. We had the session, and then his guides and ancestors requested at the end ukuthi makazongena, right? So that we can embark on healing him, right? Yeni nan. I was burning like I was set alight. I said, what is this? I was sweating up a storm. I said, what is this? The burning doesn't subside, but it gets better to a point where I can sit down and have the session with him. But mind you, there is so much interference, and there's so much that I'm not picking up from his guides and ancestors, and they're sharing vital information. We got to the end of the session, and I had to end it. And that is when now they said, whew, okay, can we now talk? His grandfather again started to explain, okay, this is the issue. This is the problem we have. We can't come near him because they used some sort of, I think it's a salamander. It's a lizard. It's black and it's got these yellow things going on, these yellow patterns. Yay, it burns that thing. They used it to bewitch him so that my ancestors can't come near him. So my path are trying to communicate, asking for stuff. They can't come near him. They can't do anything. And so he doesn't have the support he needs to manifest. And consequently, his life is a mess. Right? Bamthakathile nje balanda lento le, and they did not even understand the anatomy and physiology of that lizard or salamander, whatever it is. Umakhulu took me back and she said, I want you to go back to your textbooks, your zoology textbooks, and I want you to research about lama lizard. The anatomy, physiology, and biochemistry. Yale salamander. So now I want you guys to just imagine when umakhulu now puts together a cleansing process for this client with the knowledge of the anatomy, physiology, and biochemistry of this entity that was used to bewitch a client yakhe. What do you think is going to happen? When she now puts together a return to sender, what do you think is going to happen? Because uthakathile nje walanda ilumbo to hurt somebody else. And you somehow were convinced ukuthi this energy can never return to you because you are who? You need to understand that you are human. None of us are God. We are all extensions of God. No one is above the other. You take advantage of people just because they haven't come to realizing their power. They will come to. And when they come to, woe unto you. Those of you who bewitch others. Woe unto thee. Nidinga iBhayibheli lenu nina. Nidinga iBhayibheli lenu elizonifundisa kahle impilo. You take people for granted. You take advantage of people. Because you think that you are this God. And we are your subjects. We're not just subjects. We are all gods in our own right, if we have to be gods. We're all kings in our own right. We're all queens. We're all empresses. We're all emperors. Akekho dlula omunye la. So the best thing to do is just respect one another and maintain peace and harmony and keep it moving. Focus on manifesting your heart's desires. Musukufocus komunye umuntu. Sawuyabhimba ke lapho. Sawuyabhimba. You're no longer universing. You're diversing. Digressing. Right? Another client, they bewitch her. She complains of a headache. Singayithatha serious. We had already had sessions. I had already wayethakathiwe ngakhipha iy'lwane ey'ningi ezingangelizwe. So nami nga-relax uthi hayi use right. And life started making sense for her. Use right. Phatha gogo ngiphethwe ikhanda. Khanda, okay, no. I'm sure Lizo subside. As the days progressed, ikhanda liba west. I think she went on about 2 weeks. 2 weeks, what? Gogo, I don't want to lie, ne? All jokes aside, I think I'm going to die. And I'm scared ukuthi umntanami uzoshiyeka nabani. Because this is not a normal headache. She says it feels like something is pinching a nerve that is connected to my eye. I said, okay, Izala. So okay, we have a consultation. Lo and behold, her great-grandfather on mother's side comes through. Atige, she's being bewitched by a friend of hers. So I asked Mkhulu, what is she using to bewitch her? What entities are we dealing with? That man said, I want you to do a return to sender for my child. The return to sender is going to show you what entity is being used on her. I was like, hey, inkinga ke le. So I said, okay, we'll see. Let's do it. Let's do a return to sender. Her candles that we were using to do a return to sender, they spat out an entire scorpion. A black scorpion. Her friend used iyeze limdaga that contained a scorpion. Parts of a scorpion. I don't know what they do, angtagat. They probably take these poor animals and grind them to a pulp. Uhlanganaphi neikopioni? Ufunani? Ekopioni. Nina yazi, you guys don't love yourselves. What the heck? What the heck? Why are you not going to fetch amayeza that are high vibrational, that are going to cleanse you, raise your vibration so that you manifest the things that you want? Right? The things that your friend has that are now irking you because she has them. Uziklinile yena. That's why she has these things. I'm just checking the sound. I'm recording phela nge-mic. Right? Ubona ukuthi no. Angimthakathi azomatch i-vibration yami. I must distort i-frequency yakhe. A scorpion jumped out. 3 days. We did the cord cutting on a Sunday. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Her friend's sister informed her that usiswake, who is the client's friend, she had a C-section, right? And ebese polile, or she believed ukuthi ebese polile. I-C-section yavele yabhibha. I-chief ye-scorpion. As long as you are a human being, you are accessible. And people's guides and ancestors, abanye babo, they don't play. Ngey'ngane zabo. Do you see ukuthi this mkhulu found a weakness kulo mngane we-client yami? Iwunde bisipholile. Because she was healed and she thought, okay, I'm healed. I'm going to bewitch my friend now. I'm going to curse my friend now. Because I want her dead. She's making me uncomfortable. She's too pretty. Wathi umkhulu, right. Le-chevy scorpion ayohlala lapha esibelekweni emthungweni wesi-section. I want to see something. 3 days. She's no longer having this earthly experience that we're having. Comes back to my clients to ask for help. Stop hurting people. Respect bomb. Respect life. You're not owed this physical experience. Make sure, Guti, you enjoy life. You have fun because you are here for a limited time. You have free will for a limited time. When you pass on, when you transcend, Pelili free will, it's time to deal with consequences. It's time to pull out your sheet, your Akashic record. Say, okay, let's see what you were busy doing, Lapim Klabin. Why is your frequency like this? Why does your frequency not match a frequency range, yala? You can't cross over. You stay in a dark space where now abatagati are going to go harvest you and use you to bewitch other people. Uyosebenza uyozufa kwesibili ufukufa kwasezeni lomoya. Respect life. Respect your earthly experience. And respect abantu. So now let's look at how we manifest. How do we manifest our heart's desires into our 3D reality? We go back to our chakra system. Okay, your chakras are your energy centers. Energy gives off a field, right? Our chakras give energy in the form of light. So this light has to give off a field. So your chakras give off this field, right? And in giving off this field, it ensures that it aligns with the 4 elements of the earth. Okay, do you see how much goes into making a human? Making a human. So again, your energy centers will give birth to your physical body. The energy field will give birth to your physical body, right? Which is of a different frequency. It will then give birth to your emotional body, also of a different frequency. Gives birth to your mental body, different frequency once again, and your spiritual body. Okay, they differ in frequencies, and the higher the frequency, the more invisible. The lower the frequency, the more visible. Why? Because remember, as the frequency lowers, it condenses. It condenses. Condensation takes place. We covered this in episode 2, right? So you have your physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual bodies as this human being. And now how do we manifest? We manifest using the 4 elements of the universe that already exist within us, that we are made up of. You do not manifest ngesilwane. You are not made up of isilwane. You do not manifest ngama human parts. You're not made up of other people's human parts. Guys, zonke lezo zinto enzenzayo niyolanda ama magic potions, for lack of a better word, to give you money, to give you this, to manifest high vibrational energy, all lies. You can never use an entity to manifest money, wealth, property, success. You can never do that. Because there is no what? There is no resonance. There is a manipulation of energy instead, which lowers your frequency, which distorts your frequency. And so essentially what is happening in reality is that you are manifesting low vibrational, distorted energy, but you are being fooled and tricked, eluded by this entity, because that is its job. And then the natural blessings that you have that come from your high vibrational guides and ancestors sent to the false healer who gave you that spiritual product. You guys are very quick to introduce spiritual products into your energy. Nginbuka la at my store. Vele ngithenga ama-cleanse like ama-sweet. You don't even take time to read ukuthi yenzani le nto le. And mina-ke angithandi ukuthi nithenge i-cleanse singakabi ne-session. Sizwe ukuthi, what are your high vibrational guides and ancestors saying? Because we're not careless in healing. What does carelessness solve? Nothing. So let's rather be mindful and intentional. What does that solve? Everything. Everything. Kwamakhelwane ngishilo ukuthi kuyahuthwa so angazi nje bayithanda ihutha. Sebeshoda amatekisi. So you use the 4 elements of the earth. Why? Because there's resonance there. Because you are made up of them. So where there's resonance, there is ease of energy flow. There is ease of energy flow. That is the law of attraction. So you can attract easily. Okay? You use the earth element. You use the plant kingdom of the earth element. You use crystals, the rocks that come from the earth, the trees and plants that grow from the earth. You use them to remove certain discomforts, illnesses that get in the way of you manifesting your heart's desire because they are lowering your vibration. You use plants to attract what you want. How does the plant kingdom help us to attract what we want? They raise our vibration by tackling the low vibrational energies, by removing the impurities that lower our vibration. We use the water element, which is represented by your emotional body. The hormones that are in a state of flow emizimbeni yethu that govern our feelings, our emotions. Right? Are associated with the water element of the universe. Rivers, lakes, oceans, waterfalls. We use the water element to cleanse. To cleanse things that are getting in the way of the state of flow, of this energy that we want flowing to us. So water is going to cleanse and clean and remove the dirt, the grime, remove the sludge that is interfering with free flow of energy, right? Emzimbeni yethu. We have the element of air, which translates to our mental body. Our mental body gives rise to our thoughts. Our words, we communicate. Our words cannot be seen, but they can be heard. Air cannot be seen, but we can hear it when it moves as wind. We use the element of air to communicate our intentions. We have fire, right? Which is represented as heat. That is our spiritual body. That heat ensures that we have this life. It ensures that everything is flowing. Right? Remember, Uti, the solar energy we get from the sun, yashisa, there's heat. The magnetic energy we get from the earth, yashisa, there's a core. So heat is very important for life. We have that heat. That's why when a person dies, they are called to touch because there's no more heat moving through the physical body. These elements cannot be destroyed and they self-replenish. You cannot destroy these elements. You can alter them, but they will always find a way to come back to a state of balance. And what our world does to bring back a state of balance, kuzoba a natural disaster, in order to release all of that negative energy so that balance can be restored once again. So as a human being, you can always restore the imbalances that you find yourself in. You can always restore the imbalances that you find yourself in. Okay? So we use these elements to raise our vibration, to resonate with the things that we want. Everything that we want, everything that has a vibration in a particular frequency is made up of these 4 elements. The car that you want. How do you think the metal or alloy, whatever it is they use, ukwenza lawo car parts, how do you think they come to be? Those things need to be mined from the earth. And they came to be through processes, many processes that involve air, water, fire, heat. And then it manifests as metal because that is the frequency that is conducive, that is best for it. So at that particular frequency, the energy condenses, and it becomes the metal that is now smelted to make ibody yemoto yakho and all other different parts that require that metal. Same goes for plastics. Same goes for all the resources that we have. And here is the kicker. All of these resources that drive the world's economy are available in abundance on African soil. Do you think that is a coincidence? It's not a coincidence. It goes to show ukuthi as an African, you are born on abundant land. You are abundant. But somehow we have allowed the crooks to convince us of a false narrative, ukuthi actually we lack, so that they can steal, theft, steal our resources, steal our abundance. Right? They didn't consider that we are human, light energy beings. And we can attract our things right back. We can. That's why you see so many of us in the African space. We drive those cars. They took the resources, they rented them to their lands, and they did all kinds of things and created all these evolved gadgets and things. Ni createla tina. I want that car. I want those fixtures in my home. We truly need to understand our power. And uMakhulu is trying her best in this podcast to get you to understand that power. She's trying her best. Okay. So you need to make sure as a human being that your frequency is always as high as possible. You use the 4 elements of the earth to heal, to cleanse, to raise your vibration, to communicate, and to attract now exactly your heart's desires so that you customize your life experience. Gogo, are you sure that we can manifest anything? I'm not sure. I'm certain. And how do we know this? Plants. The plant kingdom. The plant kingdom is the only frequency band here on earth that we as human beings are in symbiosis with. Symbiosis meaning that we each give something to one another. We breathe out carbon dioxide, which is toxic for us in high amounts. And we give that to plants. The plants take that carbon dioxide in, photosynthesize, and then during the process of expiration, when they breathe, I think it's expiration. It's either expiration or transpiration. I think transpiration is when they release water. I'll put corrections in here. I think it's expiration. They then release oxygen into the air. Air simply serves as the transport we need between Tina and the plant kingdom. We then breathe in this oxygen. So there is a beautiful symbiotic relationship between us, nemiti. You need to love imiti. I'm not talking about amalumbo. Once plants have been mixed with animal fats and all kinds of unsavory things, akusasumuthi lowo. Shia pansi, akusasumuthi. Ilumbo at best. It's a magic potion. You don't need magic potions. The magic is in the plant kingdom. The magic you're looking for. And this one is not an illusion. Okay? That's why the pharmaceutical industry is one of the largest in the world. And if ubheka, there are so many plants. The plant kingdom is incredibly vast and diverse. Ukudlula the human race, there are more plants than there are humans, and they self-replenish. Plants didn't just end there by existing with us in abundance. They also ensured ukuthi their predecessors, their ancestors, still give resources for us namhlanje, for the betterment of impilo yomuntu. Petroleum, paraffin, candles. A candle has imithi eminingi kakhulu. Eminingi. When we use a plant with a candle, we are simply saying we want to amplify the energy of that frequency that that plant possesses. But a candle will work for you. A candle will heal you. I'm telling you now. A candle is powerful. You just need to know and learn how to use it effectively to benefit you. And it also represents your 4 energetic bodies, the 4 elements of the universe. The wick represents your physical body. The wax represents your emotional body. It melts and becomes watery. The smoke that is let out by the candle represents your mental body, and the flame, the heat let out by the flame, represents your spiritual body. So when you pray, when you patha, when you communicate with beings in other realms, high vibrational beings, you light a candle. The different colors then speak to the frequency that you're communicating about. But you always light your white candle, because white light does what? It contains all the frequency bands, like we covered in episode 2, where we saw white light being passed through a prism and it broke into the different bands, the different colors. So you always light your white candle. You can't come into my sessions without a candle. For those of you coming into my sessions without a candle, and then you're like, no, Gogo, let's just have the session. I cannot have the session without a candle. I can't. I need to see what is happening in your physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual bodies. I need to see. For the reading to be accurate, you need to light me a candle. Your guides and ancestors now, the candle communicates with them. Because remember, this symbiotic relationship between the plant kingdom that we have, they had it with the ancient plants that now gave rise to these candles. They were taking out their carbon dioxide and breathing in the oxygen of those trees that now gave you a candle today. So they love it. I'm telling you now, they love it. They come running into your sessions. And your high vibrational ancestors and guides are very big on resonance. They want to resonate with high vibrational beings. So not everybody will be able to consult nawe. because they are finicky. If they see ukuthi that healer Tizeni has a low vibration, they will stay away. Do you know how many high vibrational guides of ancestors have come into sessions and said, inform them, we were not there. We do not say those things. We do not give that advice. The difference in frequency was too much. We can't entertain. That false healer, low vibrational. So we didn't come. Mina, I'm incredibly honored when your high vibrational guides and ancestors come through. When the great grandparents come through. I'm highly honored. Because it means the work that I put into maintaining my spiritual cleanliness is working. They're resonating with me. When they come in laughing and smiling, you have no idea what that does to me. You have no idea. Sets the tone for the session. Even if maybe they're going to deliver bad news or unpleasant news. But because they set the tone, the energy set the tone for the session. Izoba mnandi. Session yakhona. You know? Mindfulness, guys. And for us to be mindful, we need to understand what is going on. Understanding, knowledge puts us in a powerful position. Okay? So that singabi playground, soccer ground, netball ground, hockey ground, yabathakathi. Ubani yena? Si bahle angaka kodwa, hayi kahle nini? No. Go somewhere else. Not here. Okay. The things uMakhulu is sharing with you guys are going to put you in such a position where you will never have low self-esteem again. Ufunani kuma low self-esteem. Low. Ufuna nje into nezi low. Phuma lapho. Phumani. Low for who? Low for what? Leave low to the low lives. Leave low to the low lives. They choose it, Nos. They choose it. Phuma nje into nezi low. Sekulokuthiwa wena une low confidence, une low self-esteem. Kanjani? A human being, a high vibrational human being. Kanjani? Ufike njani ku low? Pick yourself up. Let's go. Let's manifest. Let's attract. Let's heal. Let's harmonize. Let's be happy. During our time la emhlabeni. So that we become happy spirit guides, happy ancestors, high vibrational. Abantwana bazophila impilo ebukekayo, abazukulu bazophila impilo that makes sense. Hayi wena soloku uneyinkinga udinga ukulungiselwa, usudinga imisebenzi engapheli. Yeni, kanti wena wawenzani la emhlabeni wobhizi ngani? Yabo mina guys, low vibrational energies I don't entertain. Ngamane kuthiwa ngiphakeme because I'm high vibrational. Ngiphakeme. Asiphakameni, masiphakame. Confidence ayibe at an all-time high. There's a difference between confidence and arrogance. I'm not saying be arrogant, I'm saying be confident. Arrogance is a low vibrational energy. Because it means ukuthi you're trying to be seen as something you're not. Ukuforsa phela ukuba arrogant. Asforsi. We are creating ideal conditions for abundance energy to flow into our lives. We are maintaining ourselves blockage free, high vibrational. So we effortlessly attract. We effortlessly receive, resonate. And the happiness and confidence comes naturally. Which brings me to this point, actually. Stop judging people for their past actions. I don't want to say mistakes because we use that word lightly. If you are aware, you can't say it's a mistake. I had unprotected sex. I made a mistake. Kanjani. I-underwear iwe nge-mistake. Hayi kahle nini. Bra basuka nge-mistake. Sibadala nje masibangaka. Sibadala. Learn to respect abantu and respect comprehension and understanding yabantu. Don't insult our intelligence. Ngamanga. So umuthi is your friend. Okay? Umuthi is your friend. Uvela bahleke akabe khona in your life experience. Umkhanyakude makabe khona in your life experience. You can hear these words, vela bahleke. You appear and they smile pleasantly, right? Your presence, your aura is enjoyable. It is pleasant. Mkhanyakude, your aura is bright and blinding. Ukhanyule kude. Teach yourselves ngemithi. Ibalulekile, right? Some of you purchase cosmetic ingredients. You never read the bag. You just followed an advert because the company is marketing a brand and a product yabo. Yagijima uyothenga wena. You read the ingredient list at the back. You want to see botanical names of plants and flowers. And in fact, you want to see more of those than you do the names ongas understand. Ubonta plant chemical tizende nama preservatives and whatnot. You need to be friends nemithi. When I was undergoing my initiation in the ancestral realm, every night I went to sleep. Umakhulu told me to go buy this body wash here, Lux, that has these pink flowers. I'm not advertising Lux, I'm just telling you guys the experience I had during my initiation phase. She said I must go purchase that and I must shower with that. I have my soap, so I'm good. I have to cleanse. But back then, before she gave me the wisdom, I'm a spiritual product. She said, I'm happy with your Rooibos face cleanser, but your body and herbal wash, nature fresh for down there. Ladies, this one's for you. Mangi tata this body wash. Aibo, imiti. In that body wash, there's a lot. There is a lot. And I understood. I said, okay. You have to be mindful, Nje, as a human being, of the things you introduce into your environment. I'm not saying ukuthi manje be finicky. I'm saying be mindful. Angithi nyangizwa. Be mindful. This is your body. This is your life experience. Make it a nice, clean, pleasant, high vibrational one. Why not? Why not? You don't have a reason not to. Manje, obviously, I don't use any face wash. I use my soap because I have to cleanse consistently. Ngoba I'm tapping into all kinds of different energies. The plant kingdom is our friend. The symbiotic relationship we have with our plant kingdom today is the same symbiotic relationship our guides and ancestors, our predecessors had with the plant kingdom during their time. And so it is a very powerful tool of cleansing, of manifestation, everything. And it is available to us in abundance, so we use it. Do you guys know, Wuti? There is a root that mimics meat. There is a root that mimics meat. And it helps to fight and remove and clear a spiritual affliction that is delivered to you guys in dream state, where you are fed meat by these evil entities, where you dream of yourselves eating meat. That root looks exactly like red meat. It is crazy. It is crazy. When Umakhulu revealed this root to me, I was just like, the plant kingdom is amazing. But it looks exactly and feels like red meat. Right? So the plant kingdom possesses a type of wisdom that we can use to manifest exactly what we want into our 3D reality. I think in today's episode, we covered a lot of crucial information that is going to be helpful for you on this life journey as a human being. So I think let's leave it there for today. The take home is keep yourselves clean, high vibrational. Make sure that you are mindful of the universal spiritual laws that you are subject to. You cannot run away from them. So be mindful. and live in accordance. Adjust ama-actions akho in accordance so that you have a high vibrational life experience. Umakhulu is going to go deeper and teach you guys all the various tools that you can use to manifest. Tools, techniques, using these 4 elements to heal, to manifest. We don't just heal, guys. We heal and manifest. Some of you just cleanse and then you think, okay, so izinto sekumele zilunge. Hayibo, now you need to do the work, Pella. You need to manifest. What are you doing to manifest? Yeah? Life exists in complement. Remember, I told you. So you can't just cleanse and make sure that you're high vibrational. You need to now use Leo high vibrational states to manifest, to call in things, right, that you want to attract. Because the reason why you are healing, you are cleansing, is so that you resonate with your heart's desires. So you need to act and manifest. There's a lot more that Umakhulu is going to share on TikTok, but only for my subscribers. Why? Ngenzela ukuthi nikhanyisele le knowledge, le wisdom kaMphemba, right? So it's a subscription service. I think you can subscribe for that month and then cancel. Most receiving that information. And then uzophinda subscribe the following month. You can take that option. But some people obviously just subscribe. You know, like, okay, no, every month I need this. The state of our existence has to change, man. As umuntu omnyama, it has to change. And who's it going to start with if it doesn't start with us? It has to start with us. It needs to change. And if it takes one person to start the domino effect, then it's fine. I'll be that one person who starts the domino effect. But okusalayo izokwenzeka i-domino effect. I'm manifesting it. You will be high vibrational. Thank you so much, guys, for tuning in to episode 3 of the Healing Podcast. It's a lot of work, but I enjoy putting it together for you. I didn't understand why Umakhulu was so adamant on me putting everything on hold and putting this podcast together for you guys. But as I film more and more episodes of this podcast, I now realize ukuthi ibalulekile. The knowledge that she shares is extremely important. It is crucial for you guys to live the lives that you truly not only desire, that you truly deserve. Okay, you deserve to be happy, you deserve to be abundant, you deserve to be fulfilled, and you deserve to live a life that has purpose and meaning. With all of that being said, may your healing be absolute and profound. CAMAGU.